So now Ash is holding the door for dear life, trying to not let whatever demonic force into the building. We then get to a scene where Ash is taking a second to breathe. He's sitting around a fire, picks up a mirror. In this mirror, he sees the reflection of himself, and I believe what happens now, throws it on the ground. That piece of glass then shatters into about 10 different pieces. If anyone here has a keen eye or is just looking at the scene, it's going to be hard to miss that his reflection has not moved from this. Instead, you're seeing a bunch of little Ashes in them. And then Sam Raimi really gets to have some fun and lets his creative freedom take reign here.
This scene was diabolical.
Yeah.
I was losing my fucking mind because I felt like I was on crack and I didn't like the high. This was so fucking nuts. I felt like I was getting bent over by Jim Carrey.
It was Jim Carrey. It was so Jim Carrey.
It was so Jim Carrey.
Dude, before we go into this, there's
one good Jim Carrey,
tiny little fucking moment when Ash, before that happens, Ash, when he puts the logs on the fire, there's one moment that I really enjoyed. So he's thrown the logs on the fire and he puts it, but he's got one metal hand. So he's got his metal prosthetic, but then he warms his hands, both hands on the fire, even though one's metal, and he does that. It just fucking cracked me up so badly. Honestly, I fucking pissed myself when I just saw it. And it was just like, I'm going to warm both hands, even though one's a prosthetic. I'm just going to warm both
probably
hands.
Feels nice to have a fucking hand, though, even if you can't feel it. He's probably like, all right,
honestly, there was so much crazy stuff. That is really funny, actually. Yeah. There was so much crazy shit going on that I didn't even fucking notice that.
You can't. This would take about 3 rewatches to get all the fucking goofy shit that actually happens in the scenes.
I would definitely.
It's one of those kind of films.
The little Ashes proceed to climb out of their mirrors, and they proceed to start laughing. They're like little gremlin creatures, little recreations of Ash. They find a fork on the ground or something similar to that. They proceed to grab.
This is not a fork. This is a goddamn trident.
Miniature trident that they have found.
Dude, what was a trident? How did you just notice past that? This was a fucking miniature trident. I went, what the fuck is a small trident doing in here?
When forks first became...
Apparently not.
Yeah, no, that looks like a normal fork trident. You're right, that is such a trident.
They were literally like that. They were literally 2 prongs.
Yeah, but this one had 3.
Yeah, 3 prongs. So they ram the trident up Ash's ass. He proceeds to scream. He gets up. He bonks his head. The little minions are already working on their next form to torture Ash. They have the shotgun lined up on a little bucket. Proceed to pull the trigger, nearly missing Ash's head. What then happens is Ash picks up the little trident like he is the king of the sea himself, Poseidon, aims it with a laser accuracy, proceeds to throw the straightest fucking trident that has no downfall. It doesn't lag at all. It doesn't go like this. It just goes just straight laser fucking accuracy. Pins one of the first little Ashes.
Ash is good at darts. He's a good
great at darts. Great at darts. Then scene straight out of Home Alone is what this all felt like. It felt like a weird mixture of Three Stooges and Home Alone.
Dude, I was thinking Twilight Zone.
So much Three.
Twilight Zone, fair.
Twilight Zone for me.
Weird enough for it.
No, Three Stooges for me.
I think we can maybe all appreciate too the different levels. I don't think that he had any crazy acting performances in this, but Bruce Campbell is so great for him to be able to switch over to these little demon creatures and then ramming the shit. It was just so cool.
He was having so much fun making this movie.
Dude. All 3 of these movies he had a blast with. And probably the show that came out as well. Ash then
jumped on that.
Oh, yeah, right? Ash then proceeds to go to step on one of the little creatures that is on the floor. Little creature's just a random nail sitting there. So, of course, the little fucker grabs a nail, points it straight up, gets Ash in the foot.
This is after he's had to scrape his face off the hot plate.
No, I don't think he's done that. Yes, he has.
Yes, he has.
That was before.
Okay.
He was also singing "London Bridge is falling down," and even the little miniature Ashes joined in at one point.
This is
dude, what is going on? I was literally screaming at the TV.
Dude, this is an ayahuasca trip. This film.
Yes.
It's smoking crack without the high. I was literally screaming at the TV, going, "What did Quentin do? Why haven't we watched the first two yet? Why am I sitting here watching the third, not knowing why this is so nuts?"
The first one is more of a horror.
You want to see more of this?
No, I'm saying it should have started with number one. This is why I don't like going out of order with movies, even if they're not too much connected. But clearly they are.
Well, you just picked Alex Cross. There's 2 Alex Cross movies, and I didn't know till the first one. I maybe would have liked that movie better had I known that there was a first one.
That's a good point, but you don't even need to. It's like James Bond. You don't need to see any of the others, unless it's the Daniel Craig ones. But with James Bond, you can watch every single one on their own. So it's that. But anyway, that was a good point, though.
So after that, Ash, after scraping his face off of a steamed up thing that's already steamed up, whatever the fuck that is. Apparently things in this windmill are just working in 24 hours a day. He ends up, one of the little creatures, they end up getting Ash tied down after he steps on the nail. He gets knocked out. They tie him down. One of them does like a perfect dive into Ash's mouth. With also some cool little camera tricks as Sam Raimi has been demonstrating throughout this whole film. Climbs in his mouth. Ash then effortlessly breaks free from these ropes, proceeds to stand up, then gets a crazy smile on after enduring some pain with this little fucker inside of his stomach, rearranging his guts. Gets this crazy smile on, has this crazy bright idea. Even my wife, when we watched this, was like, is he going to fucking drink that boiling water? Sure enough, Ash grabs this boiling water, laughing maniacally, proceeds to then chug this boiling water, pours it straight down his throat. In turn, then what we think is burning the little fucker inside. Ash then grows an eyeball on his shoulder.
What about him? What does it do to him?
It's going to burn his esophagus.
He's not going to be able to speak.
Is he like, I don't know, like, is he superhuman? Is Ash superhuman?
No,
crazy bastard.
He's just a crazy psycho. Like, that would have burned anyone's esophagus, probably closed it throat, caused internal burns.
It just fell straight down his esophagus, didn't touch the sides.
So now that even makes even less sense.
It's not supposed to make
I was thinking, like, well, if I watched the first two movies, maybe he has some kind of superpowers or anything that I wasn't aware of at this point. He's just straight up burning all his insides.
He's just Ash burning his fucking insides,
Jesus
boiling water.
Christ.
So the eyeball then grows on his shoulder in a very, very cool prosthetic, but kind of gross scene.
Cool, but what does it look like, Brian?
It looks like a
it looks
vagina.
Exactly like a pussy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Until the eye opens, and then it looks like
eyeball pussy monster.
The worst thing you could imagine.
Yeah, it's like
stage 4 syphilis.
Imagine going down there and then you find an eyeball pops out.
That's the kind of shit that would turn you.
So the next part that we get to with this scene, they are now outside of the windmill. They're outside. Ash starts to grow another Ash on his body. The most Three Stooges of this entire film proceeds to happen here. They start poking each other. The evil Ash is poking him in the eye. He's tricking him, smacking him, punching him, doing whatever. Basically, he just starts to grow more and more. Eventually, they split off into 2 separate beings entirely. You have good Ash and bad Ash. Little foreshadowing to what we're going to see later in the film. Good Ash then suddenly has a shotgun in his hand that realistically still should have been in the windmill. But he has the shotgun suddenly. Proceeds to point it up bad Ash's nose, pulls the trigger instead of decapitating his entire face like it should have done.
Yeah, that's what made me think like these Ashes have superpowers. Yeah. What's going on here?
It just knocks him backwards.
Just knocks him backwards, does a backflip, has some bad burns on his face.
Do you know what that reminded me of? That was exactly what they do on Harry. Every time someone gets hit with a spell on Harry Potter, I think
pretty much.
It's exactly what that reminded me of. Instead of his face being imploded.
He shouldn't even have a head.
No, this has to be cleared up. I mean, granted, it is a demon. It is a demon.
Yeah.
So that one could be justified.
Made out of ash.
Yeah, but it's a demon. I mean, this thing was literally chopped up. Its head was in the grave, and it was still talking to him.
This movie is a demon. This movie, you pop it in, demon.